All right, here is lesson 12, and still working on division. And our objective here is we will be able to interpret. Interpret just means find. So we will be able to find the quotient as the number of groups, so the number of groups, or the number of objects in each group, using units of 2. So we're all those problems today, we are dividing by 2. Now there's this word quotient in it, in our objective. What does that mean? That's kind of a big word, right? Well, quotient just means answer. That's all that means. So if we have a division problem set up, 12 divided by 2 equals blank, right? We don't know what it is yet. Well, that's the quotient. So that's all that is. So don't let that get you hung up. Just remember, quotient means that that is the answer to a division problem. Okay, let's do the application problem first before we dive into the lesson. We're going to do our RDW. And remember, if you want to do this with me in your book, it is on page 71. Page 71, and you can do this along with me. A chef arranges 4 rows, important number, 4 rows of 3 red bell peppers. 3 red bell peppers on a tray. So far we know that we're dealing with rows here. Yesterday we worked with columns. Remember, columns was up and down. Rows are side to side. Okay, so here's our rows. He adds 2 more rows. Oh my goodness, he adds 2 more of 3 yellow bell peppers. I'm going to circle that too. How many peppers are there altogether? So we are trying to figure out what the answer is. We don't know the answer. So if we don't know the answer, I'm pretty sure we're going to have to do what? Multiplication or division? We're going to need to do multiplication. We don't know what the answer is. Okay, and we actually don't really know what our factors are right now. So let's figure it out. Let's draw, so we read it. Let's draw a picture and we'll figure out what it is. So we had 4 rows of 3. So let's start with 4 rows. So 4 rows of 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, nope, I didn't do that right. Let's start over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Do I have 4 rows? I do. Now they added how many more rows? He adds 2 more rows of 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's our other 2 rows. So now how many rows do we have? Well, let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now I have 6 rows of 3. So I know that one of my factors here is 6. Now I need to, and I know how many do I have in each row? Well, I have 3 in each row. So I'm going to put that here. Now we need to figure out what the total is. What is the answer here? Well, we can skip count by 3s, or we can count up all the dots. But we're practicing skip counting, right? We practiced skip counting by 2s and 3s already. So let's practice that some more. Ready? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. So our total is 18. All right, did we figure out the answer? We did. So we drew our picture. Now we get to write it into a sentence. So how many peppers did he have altogether is the question. How many peppers did he have? 18. The chef had 18 peppers all together. Ta-da! All right, so we're remembering this one was on rows. So we just need to be really focused on what are they talking about? Are they talking about rows or columns? Okay. So here's the next activity we're going to do. We are going to practice skip counting by twos. And to help us figure out the quotient or the answer in each of these division sentences, division problems. So let's skip count by twos, and I'm going to actually put it on my whiteboard down here. All right, so do that with me. Ready? And I want you to practice this. And you might want to do this at home when you're doing your independent work. You might want to write your skip counting by twos to about 20 on a piece of paper so you have that as a reference. Okay, here we go. Ready? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So I got all the way up to 20. So I would suggest that you pause the video, you put this on a piece of paper so you can use it on your independent work today. So skip counting and putting it into a number line by twos. But see if you can get the 20 on the other side of the 18. Okay, so now I'm gonna do number 1. So number 1 is 10 divided by 2. Well, I need to skip count by 2 and so I can help figure out what this answer is. I could also draw a picture, but we really want to try practice skip counting. So here we go. Ready? We hold our fists together and we start. 2, and we need to get to 10, right? We need to get to the total 10. That's our goal. We're going to skip count by twos. Ready? Fists together. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. How many times did I skip count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I skip counted 5 times. So that is the answer for number 1. All right, number 2. 16 divided by 2. Fists together. Do this with me. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. How many times did I skip count that time? Here, I'll do it this way. I skip counted 8 times. So I counted my fingers and I skip counted 8 times. So 8 is the quotient on that one, or the answer. Now do this one on your own. Ready? Pause the video and try and figure out this one. 12 divided by 2. All right, here we go. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. How many times did I skip count? 6 times. So hopefully you got that right. And my last one. Try that, pause the video, and try this one on your own. See if you get it right. 2, 4, 6, 8. How many times did I skip count? 4 times. All right, so this is a strategy, right? We can skip count to help us figure out the quotient of a division problem. All right, good job. So remember, don't forget to do your number line for your independent work. So it's going to help you on one of your problems. I'm going to erase that. Oh, where's my eraser? Okay. Okay. Moving on to some word problems that are going to deal with twos. So here it says, I want you to watch this one. This is where I do, you watch, and then I'm going to have you guys practice one with me. Okay. 2 students equally share 8 crackers. Ooh, there's the important numbers here. 2 students, right? And what's the other important number? 8 crackers. So they share 8 crackers. How many crackers does each student get? Do we know the total? Think about that. Do we know the total? We do. We know the total crackers they have are 8, but they're sharing those crackers in between how many students? 2 students, right? So we know the number of groups, which is great because yesterday we worked with doing tape diagrams to help us solve our division problems. So that's what I'm going to do here because I know that I have 2 groups. So I'm going to do a tape diagram. I'm going to divide it into 2 sections here. So I have my 2 groups. So this means 2 groups, but it also means the total, right? So we have 2 groups here, but we also know the total, and the total is 8 crackers. All right, we're trying to figure out how many crackers each student gets. So we're trying to figure out this right here. We're trying to figure out the size of the group. So how many is in this square right here? The size of this group, or the size of this square. So how can we do that? Well, we know that we have 8 crackers. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go 1, 2, and I'm going to keep going until I get to 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good, so I got to 8. Now can I figure out how many are in this one square? So how many crackers one student got? Yeah, I know that this student got 4 crackers and this student got 4 crackers. So now I can write my division problem. What always goes first in a division problem? Think about that. I've been beating this into your guys' head over and over again. What goes first in division problem? The total, right? The total goes first. And what is the total in this problem? The total is 8. Now, we also knew the number of groups, right? We knew that they were sharing their crackers between 2 students. So this was the number of groups, and that was 2. So 8 divided by 2 equals what? What was the size of the group, or how many did each student get? How many crackers did they get each? They got 4. Okay, good job. And that is also, what is this called? Does anybody remember? What is this called? That's our new vocabulary term. Quotient. All right. Next one. There were 18 monkeys in a jungle. So this one, I want you guys to watch this one again with me. So there was 18 monkeys in the jungle. Ooh, do we know the total? Think about this. Do we know the total already? There were 2 monkeys in each tree. Oh. How many trees had monkeys? Okay, so this is what we need to figure out. These 2 monkeys, is this telling me the size of the group or the number of groups? This is telling me the size of the group. And how I know that is because it's telling me how many monkeys are in each tree, but it's not telling me how many trees there are yet. That would be the number of groups, the number of trees, okay? So this is the size of the group, or the size, how many monkeys are in that tree. And now we need to figure out the quotient here, and this is going to be the number of groups. You guys see that? Yep, you can. So do we know the total? We do. We know the total is what? 18. Do we know the size of the group? Yes, we do. We know that there's 2 monkeys in each tree, right? So we're trying to figure out 18 divided by 2. All right, so I'm going to do a tape diagram again. But I'm not really sure how many groups I need this time, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip count by 2 to figure out the number of groups. So right here, I know the total is 18. So I know that represents the total is 18. But we're going to skip count by 2s. You ready? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Oh, I need to be longer. And 16. Do you see how I did that? So since I didn't know the number of groups, I skip counted by 2s until I got to 16. Okay, and that showed me how many groups I have. So how many groups do I have? That was our question, right? We didn't know the number of groups. We knew the size of the group. We knew the size of the group, but we didn't know the number of groups. So now we do. What is the number of groups? Well, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8. Oh, that's not right. It should be 9. Let's see. What did I do wrong? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Oops. 18. I made a boo-boo. That's all right. This should be 9. So we have actually, I bet you some of you guys caught me too. I bet you're like, no, it's not 8. We have 9 groups. Okay, good job. Okay, now it's your turn. I'm going to read it to you. I'm going to actually go, so you guys need to get your whiteboard, your dry erase marker, and your eraser. So pause the video. Okay, so we are trying to find out what the quotient is right here, but we don't know what that is yet. Okay, let's read the problem and figure out where each of these go. So we know the total goes first. 12 students decide to play basketball at recess. Ooh, I'm gonna circle 12 because that's important. If they make 2 equal teams, oh, that's important. How many students are on each team? So think about this. Do we know the total? If we know the total, go ahead and put that here. And then look at this part, 2 equal teams. What is that referring to? Is that telling me the size of the group, or is that telling me the number of groups? You're gonna put that here, okay? And then I want you to try to solve this by doing a tape diagram. Pause the video and then come back when you're done. Okay, so I know that there are 12 students. I know my total, right? I know that they made 2 equal groups because they're playing basketball. You can only have 2 teams. So I already know that this one is the number of groups. So I'm going to make my tape diagram, and I'm going to make 2 groups right away because I already know that's how many I'm going to have. And I know that that is 2. I don't know the size of each team or the size of each group. Okay, that's what I don't know. So this is the size of each team. I don't know that, but I do know. I know the total is 12. And if you didn't write all this, that's okay. And I know that the number of groups is 2. Okay. So now I need to figure out what the quotient is here. And that was what? The size of the team. Okay, so let's figure this out. Ready? I'm going to put 1 dot in each box to figure it out. That's how I'm going to do it. If you did it differently, that is okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good, I got all the way to 12. So now, do I know the size of each team? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 6. So our answer is 6. You can check yourself now. Let's check ourselves and count by 2s to make sure that we did this right. And we're going to count by 2s until we get to 12. Ready? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So I skip counted 6 times. Check, check, check. I did it right. All right, guys, that is it for our lesson. I'm gonna have you guys do page 73. This is very similar to what I did at the beginning of the lesson where we skip counted by 2s to figure out so you're gonna match. So you're gonna figure out, okay, 10 divided by 2. Okay, I'm gonna skip count by 2s until I get to 10, and then I'm gonna draw a line and I'm gonna match which caret it goes to, okay? Here we did this, we just did all these things, and you'll do the back page here where they're gonna actually, so just like what I did here where I labeled what each of these were, that's what we have to do on number 4. You have to label it. Once you figure it out and you solved the problem, and then you'll label it. Okay, and these ones you should be able to do as well. Okay, good luck.